What is up, guys? Welcome to the Sovereign Life podcast. My name is Dillon Lowe. I'm PNBA pro, natural Olympian, and owner and founder of Sovereign Lifestyle. I'm here with PNBA pro and one of our business partners in Sovereign Lifestyle, James Hunt, and Blake Miller, INBA, PNBA pro, natural Olympian, and another one of the business partners in Sovereign Lifestyle.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. But anyways, guys, today we're going to talk about the three biggest mistakes we see guys making on prep, right? Natural bodybuilder, or the three biggest mistakes that natural bodybuilders make while prepping for shows. And we have, I'll preface this with, we have coached like thousands of guys at this point into bodybuilding shows. I've been doing this a decade. James has been doing it longer
10
than
years,
me.
yeah, 11 years, probably 12, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Blake, you're coming up on like year 5,
six,
year
something
6.
like that.
So all PNBA pros, and right now we currently have a group of or a team of competitors. It's over like 150. So
And counting.
it's getting pretty crazy. But with that being said, guys, the number one mistake number one that I see is starting prep too late. This is one of the things that it's funny because it's like bro science. Like back in the day, the way that bodybuilding preps, just so that you guys understand traditionally how coaches do bodybuilding preps, is bodybuilding has been enhanced since the 60s. Dude, Arnold came up. You know, he was like one of the first ones that was like a pretty big advocate of gear use.
Yeah.
Just because he was like, he had that freaky, huge physique. Now, back then, the gear wasn't near as strong as what we have now. Yep. But, you know, since then, it's kind of evolved to use steroids. And so with that being said, when you are using steroids, your body will hold on to muscle mass way better. Your metabolism is going to stay way higher, and you're going to sit leaner quicker, right?
Your hormones do not change.
Yeah. And so, your hormones don't change, right? Testosterone's not going to drop because you're supplementing testosterone.
It's going to stay at 10,000 the whole time. No, I'm just kidding.
It's going to stay at 1,500.
Yeah, it's going to stay very high the whole time.
Yeah. And so with that being said, traditionally, the way that bodybuilding preps go is they're starting like 12, maybe 16 weeks out max.
Sometimes even 8.
Yeah, 16 would be long.
Yeah. Some guys are like 8, 10 weeks.
Yeah. Like my first prep, I did a 12-week prep.
Me too. Yeah, back 10 years ago.
I did a
dude,
10-week prep and lost 40 pounds in 10 weeks.
Yeah. And that's like the standard NPC, IFBB, like enhanced bodybuilder mindset. And like the thing is like back then we didn't really know better because we just went to a coach and signed up and did a show, right? Yeah. And they prepped us just like every other enhanced bodybuilder. And so what we've found over the last while is that, and you know, excuse me, I've been around natural bodybuilding for the last like 6 years, is that the guys who are winning shows, like there's a huge emphasis on conditioning. So the guys who are winning shows are the ones who one, like, they stretch out their prep. They're doing a 24 week prep, right? But 2, their prep is less intense because we want to be able to keep natural testosterone high, right? We like when you're enhanced, you can basically just wreck your food and crank cardio all the way up.
8 weeks out.
Yeah, 0 carbs, 8 weeks, and your testosterone is going to stay the same because you're supplementing. But with natural bodybuilders, typically what tends to happen is the more intense your prep, like if you make it overly intense, your body's ability to recover is going to be a whole lot lower, which then means that your testosterone production is going to go down. You end up stringing out, losing muscle mass,
inflammation,
leptin and ghrelin go all over the place, and your body just holds on to fat. And so we've found that stretching prep out for a longer period of time is typically the best way to bring guys in with like fuller muscles, but also the conditioning.
Yeah, like honestly, right? The shortest prep that we do for any athletes is 16 weeks, and that's like the short.
That's
side.
They're starting at like 13% body.
Yeah, like if they're already
pretty they're pretty lean.
So we tend on you lean on the side of longer is better because like natural versus enhanced you kind of play this game, right? Like, oh, let me just increase this dosage and increase that, do that, like, right, whatever, as opposed to the natural side, it's really a science behind it, right? It's how do I, keep the natural testosterone levels high, But also, right, one of our biggest enemies in the whole thing is cortisol levels, right? So if you're going to go into a crash diet, or you're going to go into 3-hour-long cardio sessions and 2-hour-long lifts 7 days a week, your cortisol is going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
Right. So no progress is going to be made. So it is like this, the science behind walking the tightrope of how do I keep testosterone high? How do I push it, but not too far so we keep cortisol under control? And so if you're doing that in an 8-week period, you're going to lose. Right. But once you open it up, it allows a lot more data to be collected, and that data then to be used in your plan to make tweaks that make sense, as opposed to just upping a dosage on some random injection. Right. It's, hey, we need to now manipulate food, sleep, and extra in your training program, so it's now going to make the most amount of sense. And by opening up 20 weeks, that's where, right, we're able to make those quality changes.
100%. And sometimes even 20 weeks. Like, we say a 20-week prep into a show, but if we're starting prep and we are, we're 20+% body fat, dude, 20 weeks might not be enough. Maybe we need to pick a different show. Maybe we need to push that show date back. And that's not a bad thing. So often it's like guys like, oh my gosh, this is devastating. I have to move my show. Bro, there's tons of shows.
Yeah.
There's
Well, dude,
shows all the time. Do you
And
want
even
to
not getting the placing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, if you place low, like, just do another show
starting,
and
dude.
tweak a few things. Like,
Like we've
Yeah.
all placed low, and you climb the ladder, and then guess what? You become a pro, and then
dude,
you
I
place
literally
low
went
again,
from
and then you
fifth.
climb the ladder.
I went from 5th place in Japan to 2nd place in San Francisco to 3 weeks later winning the biggest show in the U.S.
Yeah,
And that's all a matter of like just refining the small things and coming in like 1 to 2% body fat leaner. And like, dude, it makes the craziest difference. But like, so many people have this like tunnel vision on one show, and they're like, if I don't win the first show, I'm done. And it's like, dude, that's the best way to never achieve anything.
Yep. 100%. It's a long game, right? And yeah, but anyway, the point, the biggest mistake, if you crash at it hard, right, you're going to crash and burn, and you're not going to show up
and
well.
your rebound is gonna suck.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be terrible.
And most guys, well, let's add this as a mistake: not reversing out of a show. Like, that's we're not adding it to the thing officially, but
That's 3.5.
not not starting starting when you should, but also like if you're just looking at like, all right, dude, show's done, I can eat whatever I want now, and you reverse out and you don't reverse out, dude, I've done that.
Wrecked.
And I gained about 60 pounds in a short period of time, got way heavier than I should have, cut back down for the next day. Hey, dude, we're 2 pounds heavier than we were out of that 60 that we
60
put on.
you added.
And so, yeah, you want to reverse it. And then when you reverse out properly, that's when you get into like actually maximizing your muscle mass and taking advantage of that time and all that thing. It's a totally different thing, but don't not reverse out of a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually leads perfectly into the second mistake, which is chasing perfection and putting so much emphasis on one show, right? Like we just talked about. Like, dude, I cannot tell you how many freaking guys, they're like, oh, I'm going to compete. And then like, they set a show date for 6 months out, and then they're like 3 months out comes and they're like, oh, coach said I'm not ready. Oh, I'm going to compete in this show next year. And then they get 3 months out from that show next year. Oh, coach said I'm not ready, or I don't feel ready, or whatever. And it's like, dude, you're never going to feel ready.
Never.
Like, I have never stepped on stage. Like, dude, I've won pro shows. I'm a 3-time natural Olympian. Never stepped on stage, looked in the mirror show day, and been like, yep, I'm ready. Like, yes, there has been times I'm like, dude, I put in work. Like, I feel good about the work that I did. But like, is there more? Yeah. Yeah, I could do more. But like, I've never felt like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm just going to dominate and win. And like, it's going to be easy. Like, no, it never is like that.
You'll hear a lot too as a natural competitor, like coaching guys. I'll have guys come to me like, dude, so-and-so said that like I shouldn't be jumping on stage because I don't have enough muscle mass. Bro, if everybody listened to that advice, no one's ever getting on stage.
that's like,
and there's a lot of guys that never get on stage because they've been told that.
well,
over
and
over.
when somebody says that, the first thing you should ask them is, have you stepped on stage?
Yeah.
Like, and 90% of the time, the answer is going to be no. So like, why would you listen to somebody who's never, that's like being at like a race car race, like a NASCAR race, and like taking advice on how to drive from the dude next to you watching the race.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that guy's never been in a car, bro.
Or if you're
Like,
listening to somebody that is, which if they are, do whatever you want. Do what makes you happy. But if you're listening to somebody that is utilizing PEDs telling you that you're not big enough to step on stage,
that's a whole nother thing.
dude, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
getting on stage and getting the advice and then building from there. That's step one.
Yeah, like if someone's going to tell you, hey, like you're not big enough, don't get on stage. You go, well, did you compete? If they say yes, well, like, did you look perfect your first show?
Nope.
No, of course not. Well, I'm not going to look perfect in mine either, but I've got to start somewhere. I've got to have my first show done, and it's going to be on this day, and then I'm going to keep growing. And you know, mistake also, right, when it's like perfection versus consistency, is how many guys have we talked to, right, where they got their meal plan, they got the cardio training program, everything is going, and then they may make one little slip, and then they like start binging for 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're like, well, if I already messed up once, might as well just trash the next few days.
That happens all
Right?
the
Because you're in this perfection mindset. It's either perfection or nothing. But that's not it. It's understanding like, hey, through prep, you're not going to be perfect. If your standard is perfection, you're going to fail and you're not going to make it to stage. Or if you do, you're not going to look how you want to. But understand that every single day, you're making steps in that right direction. You're better, a little bit better than you were yesterday. If you have a little slip up, what do? You just get back on plan. You don't you don't punish yourself. You don't make up for it. You say, oh, hey, I had a little slip up, but my next meal, my next workout, I'm right back to where I need to be, and I'm moving forward. It's that consistency over perfection in all things.
Which
Yeah.
comes along with obsession. Like
Yeah.
you'll get guys like they have that perfectionist mindset and they're so obsessed with it. Then when they do have a slip up, like you said, they just go off the rails. But it's like legitimately toxic behavior. Like you're getting into like, there's some mental things going on where you're starting to cross a line.
Yeah.
You know
where
what I
they
mean?
fall into shame and doubt.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be. I like I tell my guys over and over again. I sound like a broken drum at this point, but because I've hit it so many times. But like building momentum, that's all this is. So that when you build enough momentum, it's like a train, dude. I use this train thing all the time. Train, super hard to get going. Once it's going, super hard to derail a train. Yeah. Exactly. So you just roll over those mistakes. Like something's in the tracks, you blow on past it, you're right back onto the next thing.
Well, and year over year, I feel like the momentum continues to build and it gets easier and easier. Like that's one of the things that I notice is like honestly, if I said how like my first prep went, like if I rated that on a scale of 1 to 10, how well I actually showed up, probably an 8.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know? And now it's like I could stay on prep for 11 months out of the year and count the number of times that I cheated on my hand, you know, for 11 months. Like, and it's just doing it year after year after year. You build that mental resilience. But like, I never would have had the opportunity to get to where I am if I had not stepped on stage at 80%. And that's what people need to realize, especially being young, dude. Like a lot of these guys are early 20s and it's
or in their teens. That's their first time. They want the pro card. You know what I mean? They want to get up there. They see the result that we've achieved, but they don't see the 7 second to last places that have come before that, the years of competing, the building, all the things to get there. So it's like you said, focusing on that one show. Dude, if you're in this for the long haul. Natural bodybuilding is a very long-term play. Like this isn't day trading. You're like tracking the S&P 500 over the next 20 years. Like that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and like, I mean, guys are peaking at mid-30s, right, for Olympia. Like most of the time when you see an Olympian men's physique, a natural Olympian men's physique winner, they're mid-30s.
Yeah.
And
like
so that was
top 10.
Yeah, that was like my mentality going into my first Olympia ever was like, dude, I'm probably going to go up there and get crushed. And that sucks. Like, I'm going to give it the best that I can.
And I'm here.
But I'm 24 and the guy winning's 35. Like, I would be lying to say that I should beat him. He's been doing this for 20 years.
He's been doing this since you were like 10.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's another thing that like a lot of guys, you'll kind of point out their ego because they're like, yeah, I'm going to win Olympia. And it's like, the guy who's going to win Olympia has been doing this for longer than you've been alive. Yeah. Like, sorry to,
burst
like
your bubble there.
Yeah, you kind of have to like respect that a little bit. Like, yeah, you may be great. You may, you know what I mean? You may have great genetics or a really great work ethic, but like, you can't. He's been doing it for longer than you can even imagine. Like, so just let it be that, you know, and just realize that it's like, it's a lifetime goal.
And that's the awesome part.
Yeah.
The fact that this is not that there's a delayed, response to this. The fact that you get to enjoy this literally over the course of your life and continue to progress, continue to make gains in the gym, continue to climb the ladder. It's like the best video game ever that never ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Consistently peaking.
But it actually, no hate on people play video games, but this actually benefits you. This is the game that
It's a real life.
you're going to actually learn something from this and apply it to things. But
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, mistake number 3 is sacrificing everything for one show. And
yeah.
I can't tell you how many freaking guys like they're, and it kind of comes with like the enhanced mindset a little bit where like, I don't know, like I think it's been bred into bodybuilding at this point where guys are like, yeah, I'll give bodybuilding everything, like even my life and like all this stuff. And it's like,
For one local show.
for one thing, for one
an amateur
show,
level.
bro,
Yeah,
like
for an amateur.
show me the longevity in that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, dude, if you truly sacrifice everything for one show, like your health, your relationship, your business, bro, like you're one, like if your wife leaves you, you're not going to want to compete anymore.
Yeah.
2, like if you get fired from your job or your business fails, like you're not going to have the money to compete. Like, you know what I mean? And so you have to look at it from the perspective of like, I don't sacrifice everything to compete. I compete because I love doing what I love doing it, and it helps enhance every other area of my life. And so, yeah.
And then the question to ask after you compete, like, was that worth it? You know, and if you could look back and say, oh yeah, you know, my family's doing well, business and work are growing, my faith is good, everything's good. It's like, well, that was worth it, right? But if you look back and say, well, I gave up my family, I gave up this, and this is in shambles. It's like, no, that wasn't worth it because you did it wrong. Right? You don't sacrifice everything for this one thing. This one thing, if done right, when done right, enhances everything around it, and that floor raises, right? That tide is rising all the boats in the harbor, and that's what it's all about: is understanding you don't have to sacrifice everything for this one thing.
Yeah.
Right? This is to enhance the other aspects
Yeah,
of
you
life.
should give it all. You should leave it all on the table. That's the determination of a successful prep. You don't have to give up everything
Yeah.
to make it happen. It should add to, not take away.
Yeah, exactly. And as a coach, like to step into the coach's shoes as opposed to a competitor, it's like, dude, I came up in Salt Lake around the bodybuilding scene. I've coached bodybuilders for the last 5 years. Like, dude, I've seen so many guys on show day when they should be stoked. Like, they should be so hyped. And they're like, dude, I can't wait to just be done. Like, because my wife hates me and like I'm walking on thin ice at my job, like all this stuff. And it's like, dude, if that's how you feel after all of this work and determination that you've put in, like, dude, you missed the ball.
Well, and they'll blame bodybuilding. It's not bodybuilding.
And they blame bodybuilding. They're like,
it's uncovering some things.
yeah,
you know.
Or dude, another one is freaking don't even get me started on the eating disorder people.
Oh, yeah.
Bodybuilding gave me an eating disorder. And it's like, dude, no. Bodybuilding, the thing is it's going to, like, stress in general, not just bodybuilding, stress in general reveals you to yourself. That's all it does. And so if you're a shitty person, like if your relationship is struggling, if your business sucks, like adding more stress to that, it's just going to expose the cracks.
Yeah.
Right. It's not prep. It's not like anything else. It's just that you're taking on more. Right. And so that's the thing that you have to realize is like, yes, you'll feel the stress and stuff, but like you can overcome that. Right. There are systems you can build that will actually enhance all of the other areas of your life if you do it correctly.
Yeah, and I think a huge thing too on this part is like to be transparent with your coach or with your partner and be like, hey, you know, right now my marriage is kind of struggling right now. I'm snappy, I'm moody, I'm this. Like, what can I do, right? And it's like realizing that as you go through the process allows you to adjust and fix things so it doesn't keep escalating throughout the rest of the prep, right? But when you try to say, oh no, I'm hardcore, I'm all in this bodybuilding thing, it's like, okay, well then you're going to lose these other things that you've already built, right? So it's understanding like, hey, there are ways to, you know, improve your business, improve your family, improve this, that, and the other, but you have to, you know, lean on your coach and express those things, and then you can come up with that game plan. So that way, 20 weeks later, when you get up on stage, you're like, dang, this was awesome, man. I can't wait for the next one. Let's freaking go. How can I grow? When's the next show, dude? Let's go.
Well, so, not to mention, we talked about cortisol earlier, and it's like, dude, even sacrificing everything the way that people typically do is like, dude, when you sacrifice everything that way and then you have those cortisol spikes and showing up show day, like, dude, it's going to impact your placings too.
Oh, trust me. I've dealt with some cortisol. My journey of bodybuilding, it definitely affects your placings.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, and you're telling yourself, oh, I'm sacrificing everything and like beating your head against this wall. And then you show up and with a worse physique.
Oh yeah.
It's like, bro,
You just gave up everything.
Yeah, you gave up everything to get a worse placing than you should have.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's another thing that's like, you just have to realize, like, I don't know, it goes back to the gap in the game, right? Like, you always have to remind yourself, no matter how stressful it gets, like, one, I chose this, and two, like, look how awesome it is that I have, like, all of this stuff. How awesome is it that I have my family and my business and, you know, and I'm able to push my body to these limits. Like, it's really freaking cool that I'm able to do that.
You have the opportunity to compete in a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of people that can choose not to eat and choose to get, like, if they want to go to the gym or not that day. You know what I mean? Like, the thing that you are stressing about, the thing that you're like, there's a lot of people that wish they could.
It's such a privilege.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are in a hospital bed somewhere that wish they could go to the gym and do cardio or any of these things that we get to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's one of the big things that we've also built into the framework of Sovereign Lifestyle really well. And it's like, because like us coaching so many guys, there's a lot of things that like I take on. I'm a very empathetic person. And so like when somebody, that's like, in essence, that's why we chose natural bodybuilding, because I could never in good, how would you say that? I could never feel good about putting somebody on a PED that I know is going to impact their health. But the same thing is like, I could never talk somebody into a bodybuilding show that I know it's going to ruin their relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you have a few of those, but like, I try to call them out and be like, hey, like, get this in order. Otherwise we're not going to step on stage. Cause I'm not here to just win a pro card and take advantage of that. Like, I'm here to, like, I want the end goal to be that you're like, one, you completed this goal, but two, like, every other area in your life got better along the way.
You're a better man.
Like, yeah, I'm not here to freaking make you sacrifice everything. And I've worked with coaches who pull those strings and they're like, you know, your relationship doesn't matter right now. We got a bodybuilding show. And it's like,
that's not what we're
that's
looking
not a good way to go about
we're
that. But anyways, so the framework of Sovereign Lifestyle, or the mission, the vision has been like, I would never tell people to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Right. And so one of the things that has provided me the most longevity in the sport is, one, staying natural, and two, making sure that I level up all areas of my life equally. Right. Like, yeah, it's hard to balance at times. Yeah, it's stressful, but like, I am never going to risk my relationship or my business for competing, because it's not like, even at the end of the day, like, say you win, dude, I've won pro shows and you get your trophy and you're like, sick.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I won. Normal life starts again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, nothing changes for you.
Yeah, the real trophy is not the gold thing you can go put on your shelf. The real trophy is the man that you became because of keeping the commitments to yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Because life is better after those 20 weeks than it was before, because you're now on a higher plane.
Yeah. The one thing I try to get across to a lot of the guys that I talk with is that, like, bodybuilding, like, that's not the true end goal. Like, the growth that happens along the way, dude, that's the goal. That's why I love competing. Like, jumping on stage is fun, you know, all that stuff is really cool. It's fun to look awesome, you know, be shredded, all the things. But the things that you learn through the process to get there, that's what this is all about. Like, if that didn't exist, dude, I wouldn't give a crap about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to look cool, whatever. I would not do everything we do if that growth that happens along the way wasn't there, and you couldn't continue to do it and learn more and more as you go.
Yeah.
Like, we've done lots of preps at this point, long ones, short ones. I've learned something different that I've applied to my life along every single one of them. I don't care what I place. It's literally just about the process to get there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I always have to remind myself of, is it's like so easy to get caught up in placings, but then it's like, kind of just have to look at the overall prep and be like, dude, but like, look at all the cool stuff that's happened and that's come out of this. But anyways, guys, so yeah, like, the main takeaway from this that I would want to leave you with is, like, prep or natural bodybuilding in general is about the long game. And so you have to look at it that way. It's not about one show. It's not even about 1 year. It's not even about the next 3 years. It's about the next 5, 10, 15 years, right? Like, how can you build systems that make it so that you have the optimal amount of longevity, right? Like, how do you continue showing up when all those other guys quit? And it's one of the things that I always say, and I'll say it again. I stand on this statement. I've never been beat by the same person twice. Actually, there's one person, one person now. I will say that there's one person that has beat me more than twice in my entire 10 years now of competing. And like, it just, you know what I mean? Like the majority of people don't look at it from a longevity standpoint. They look at it as like, I'm going to sacrifice everything, show up, and maybe they have a good year, but then year 2, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, and you never
They
see
lost
them again.
everything.
Yeah. They lost they can't sustain it. And so that's the big thing with Sovereign Lifestyle is like, we want you to look at prep as a long-term thing where you're building your relationships, you're building your business, your family, fitness, finance, faith, and none of those things are slacking. And that's what we're here to help you with. And so for you guys that are going into prep, just know, like, especially if this is your first time, don't look at it as an all or nothing. Like, even if you show up and don't get the placing you want, like, at least you tested yourself. At least, you know what I mean? Like, don't sacrifice all of the things that matter most for one show that you're going to show up and, get second place in, and then you just move on with your life. Like, you should have bigger goals than that. And you should be looking, 3, 5, 10 years down the road and just be trying to move in the right direction. And trust me, like, when you get there, you're going to have people that you want by your side, and make those relationships the priority and make the show the side thing, right? Like, yeah, you want to give everything to the show and you want to push, but there are more important things, and you're lying to yourself if you say that there's not. Like, that's just kind of the reality. And so, anyways, yeah, that's the biggest take home from this. Guys, thank you guys for listening. Follow me on all platforms. You can find me, Dillon Flex, on Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms. James?
You hit me up on jhunt.fitness on the gram. There I am.
Cool.
And then I'm just Coach Blake Mill across the board. New platforms coming soon.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Sweet.